you start talking.
What have you been doing? Okay. It is Tuesday, May 11, 2021. We'll call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Tell you what, we might deviate from all of this other stuff, and he's here.
Start without me?
I did. My clock said 9 o'clock.
Right now.
Yes, it is.
My feelings.
Okay. We are going to deviate. We are going to do a resolution by the
Thanks,
Cole
Eric.
County Commission for Deputy James Rhodes. If you would come forward, sir.
He's still in timeout in the hallway for retiring from me, so. You guys can come in.
Rest of the gang come in.
Oh, there.
Okay, I'm just gonna throw that right there.
You'll have plenty of
You
room.
go stand up here, buddy.
I got to stand right here. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah. Okay. Are you ready?
I guess.
Whereas Deputy James Rhodes is retiring from the Cole County Sheriff's Department after 50 years of service to the citizens of Cole County, and whereas he rode his tricycle to work when he first started,
Did you do something?
whereas from 1971 until 2021, Deputy Rhodes has been a dedicated employee, working full-time, part-time, and as an active reserve. And whereas at one time or another, Deputy Rhodes has worked in just about every position that was available in the Sheriff's Department. And whereas Deputy Rhodes met the responsibilities of this office with professionalism and commitment, contributing immeasurably to the safety and security of the citizens of Cole County. And whereas Deputy Rhodes has served under 6 different sheriffs, Sheriff Wyman Basinger, Sheriff John Haymeyer, Sheriff George Brooks, Sheriff Gary Kempker, Sheriff Greg White, and currently Sheriff John Wheeler. And whereas Deputy Rhodes is a member of the Martial Arts Hall of Fame and enjoys snake wrangling and swimming with sharks. Whereas Deputy Rhodes and his wife Linda have 6 children: Daniel, Kenneth, Chris, James, Catherine, and Sarah, 13 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren. Now therefore be it resolved that the people of Cole County do hereby thank and commend Deputy James Rhodes for his years of faithful service and loyalty to the county. We also wish him the best in his retirement and many enjoyable years ahead, and we will truly miss him. How's that?
I will miss
Snake?
Yeah, rattlesnake. I'm one of the head guys down there in Oklahoma. Since '82.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm supposed to say something?
No.
Yeah,
Actually, your family asked us to say, you can't say anything.
Oh, well, I believe that. Yes, I can. I can definitely believe that.
Well, we just wanted to, on top of that, we're going to give you a plaque. It says in recognition of 50 years of service to the Cole County Sheriff's Department and a citizen of Cole County. And we actually took the badge that you were wearing and mounted it on there as one of the older badges, so thank you for your service.
All right, thank you, John.
And then, last thing, sorry, we'd be remiss if we didn't thank his wife. After 6 kids, 4 grandkids, swimming with sharks, what the hell? In appreciation, we got you some flowers, ma'am. After hearing all that stuff, I wish I could have given you more, but I wasn't able to. Thank you very much for your service. So, thank you very much for your service. We hate to see you go.
Yeah.
We
I should go,
understand.
but you don't have to.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you all, Sheriff's Department that showed up.
I know.
I've got one here.
I know,
I
he's
could've
also
wore
an
it.
he's also an actor at times.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You do that, that's.
You didn't tell me that part.
No, I forgot that, talk about
Yeah.
it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys, I appreciate it. I wasn't expecting all this.
Oh,
I figure I got my personal goal done with 50 years in, that was okay.
yeah, he started when he was 11. That's why he rode his tractor.
We already gave him his service weapon. It's a
Yep.
retirement for, we give him a service weapon, so.
Did you give him bullets?
No, no bullets. No, as soon as we heard about the rattlesnake stuff, we took the bullets away.
Donnie. I'm doing great, buddy. Oh, well, thank you all, I tell
Thank
you.
you. All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, if you leave it, it goes in the.
Oh, and John.
It's been a long ride, brother.
Oh, it's been
Together a long time.
Yes, we have, that's for sure. A long time.
All right, and we can head out into the lobby there so that we're not interrupting.
Right. I wore the hat for you.
See, that's crazy, man. Snakes, seriously. And on purpose? On purpose?
We learned all kinds of stuff.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. So we'll do
They're
this?
sending us a picture of their group and we'll put it on our Facebook page too and acknowledge it there. Oh, you're gonna take one? Okay. So they can send them to us.
Okay, we're going to continue to deviate from our agenda because according to Debbie, Judge Beadham has a time constraint, so are you, budget discussion for Circuit Marshal?
Yeah,
Okay,
I have been unsuccessful in convincing Mr. Marshall, Mr. Elbert, to stay on at least until the end of my term, and he wants to retire yet again
now,
on July 1. It would be an activist thing as a judge to order him to not to retire, so I don't get to have that particular option. When we did interviews the first of the year for the new marshals, we identified a candidate that we'd like to hire. He obviously needs to give notice to his current employment, and we would like to have him for three and a half weeks to train him in all the stuff that we do. And that would obviously add a little bit to our budget. So that's what we're here to do, to ask for approval to do that.
well, I think Donnie has to serve until replaced, right? So we can stretch this out for,
I have to deal with that problem here too, but today my problem is Mr. Marshall. I would like the opportunity for this individual to work with Mr. Marshall because of what we're doing. I mean, what we're doing, we have so much more computer and video that we're doing in our courtroom because of how we're handling the dockets, as long as the COVID beast is around. And just what we do because of our juvenile dockets, what we do is just different than your average docket. We'd like to have a little bit of overlap time.
so are you asking 3 months? Or
No, I'm asking about 3.5 weeks.
3.5 weeks, okay.
So,
Well, we usually do this anyway, so we have a little bit of overlap and a smoother transition. I'm fine with it. 3.5 weeks is reasonable, so.
It's a reasonable request.
It's our goal, is to make it reasonable.
Okay.
All right.
Ooh, then we get to do a proclamation for you and find out,
No, they're not talking about Donnie, he's talking about Elbert Marshall.
Yeah.
oh, Albert, oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, I was gonna say, I didn't see him leaving, okay.
That's good legal advice.
Elbert's retiring again.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
He
good.
was here, he got untired and then retired. Then now he got tired again, so.
Okay, we can do that?
Well, Elbert can, we like him.
Okay. Yes, yes,
All right.
yes.
Run. Thank you, guys.
Okay,
Good to see you back.
okay, we will go back, okay, minutes and reports received and filed. Jeez, this is confusing.
The sheriff's April 2021 fees were filed, and the treasurer's April reconciliation report was filed.
Okay. Commissioner Committee Liaison Reports, upcoming meetings and events.
We got HBA board meeting this afternoon, planning commission meeting this evening, solid waste management district board meeting tomorrow afternoon. HBA general membership meeting tomorrow night, and you guys are always welcome. Come out there if you want. Chiefs Association Thursday evening, Chamber coffee on Friday, meeting with the new chamber director Friday afternoon, and then we've got movie night for the Cole County Health Department Friday evening. I think that's about it. We had a Jefferson City Regional Economic Planning meeting last week and got the board members all appointed. And we should have an email. I'll get that information to you. I think right now we've got 12, 13 members. And then they chose Larry Cobb to be the chairman of it to start with, so see where that goes. I think that's it.
I have a salute meeting tomorrow. The Chamber Barbecue is Thursday evening, the health movie night that you mentioned. That's what's on my calendar.
Okay. I have a bicentennial meeting tomorrow. Yeah, Chamber Barbecue ahead. Friday, there's a Patriots Day meeting, and then the Health Department. Monday, we have a medical WebEx. Yeah, at 8 a.m., and that's all I've got, so. Okay. Commission comments. We did the resolution. Bids and contracts, approval and signing of contract renewal for Cole County Medical Director.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is just our annual renewal of our contract with Dr. Kaywood to be our medical director. He reviews files, signs off on our standing orders, runs from May to May. It did not increase this year. It's still the standard $5,000.
Good.
Dr. Kaywood's wonderful, so.
I'll make a motion to accept and sign the medical director contract with Dr. Eric Kaywood.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Discussion of 2021-15 enclosed trailer.
For 2021-15 enclosed trailer, we only received one bid on it. It was from A&J Trailer Sales for $11,435. Back in 2018, we bid out the same trailer for Public Works, and it was $7,200. So Greg and I were kind of looking for guidance on what we should do. If we award it or rebid it.
I don't know how we can rebid it since the prices are out there, but if you look at the cost of plywood, cost of building material, period, they,
Yeah, what'd you say, that was 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
2018.
I just bought an enclosed one too, and I didn't have as many of the things on it because we don't have I'll do the yard work and stuff and have things on it for your weed eaters and a few different things. So this one's got a few more bells and whistles than mine had on it. I don't think it's out of whack at all. And if we I don't know if anything's gonna change between now and if we rebid it.
I don't think it will.
I mean, if I'm them, I'm gonna add a little bit to it because they're the only ones that bid it.
Yeah, we called I know between myself and Jordy, we called 4 other places.
And they just didn't submit a bid for whatever reason.
Right now, I understand it's hard to get them. So I think that's part of the price in there is that supply and demand there. So we either are gonna have to find a place to put everything that we were gonna put in this.
Yeah, I mean, to me it sounds high, but once you start looking at the price of plywood, I mean, when you buy half-inch sheeting from the roofing is $40 a sheet now. I mean, I don't know how many sheets are in this trailer, but I'm sure there's quite a few. So, I don't know, $11,435. Get all our equipment put in there and get it locked up.
That's where I'm at with it. Otherwise, you're gonna have to find a place to park the open trailer, equipment.
I don't want to do that.
No, we've had some things stolen, so I'm not in favor of that either.
So I
I agree with Jeff.
let's just do it and bite the bullet.
Stuff is usually parked right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you good with it? Okay. I'll make a motion, we award the enclosed trailer to A&J Trailer Sales for $11,435.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Approval of sole source 2021-SS14 outdoor warning consulting.
We had another outdoor warning siren that needs to be replaced, so we ran another ad for it, because the first one we put a certain dollar amount to, so we needed to do another one for the second one. And the ad's already been ran, it's just signing the
We're
approval.
still waiting on the insurance on this one.
This one gets struck by lightning too.
Boy, Lightning really likes our. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the sole source on 2021-SS14 outdoor warning consulting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any unfinished business? New business?
Sam, I meant to say something about when the judge was here. Are we still struggling with an answer on the window tinting thing? This is old business, isn't it? Does it fall under there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought,
I mean, we got a proposal, and I think he emailed it to you guys.
Yeah, we had a bunch of emails going back and forth on it, trying to clarify some stuff.
Yeah. So we will be over the 6,000 with Brady's. The health department had, how much was that, 4,000?
Something like that.
So was that under an emergency purchase, do you remember?
I don't think it was.
No, we never even talked about it before. Not that I didn't hear it.
Because I thought we did that as an emergency purchase under security, so that one may not apply.
Oh, the health department one?
Yeah. Because we had the two bids and Brady's was the lower of the two, correct?
For the
For
courthouse,
the
yeah.
tinting.
Mhm.
Can we find out if the one for the health department was emergency procurement? Because then that still leaves Brady's in play then.
It would be in the minutes if
Yeah.
it were.
Well, we purchased it, or talked about it in closed session under security issues. So we'd have to go back and see what
But the
happened after that.
sunshine law and the budget law.
Okay, let's go find out.
Regarding purchases are not, in fact, not even in the same chapter. So emergency means you need it right now.
But
has
it was a
nothing-
security issue, so it's kind of, they are tied together.
You could do that, but it has nothing to do with the sunshine law.
Okay. So to stay within the statutes, what's the next step?
Well, I mean, we would have had to have declared the health department window tinting as an emergency purchase for not bidding.
Well,
We
I,
did bid it out.
You did bid it out?
Yeah. Remember we got tint guys?
No,
that-
from Brady's.
Oh, that wasn't tinting.
The
That
windows
was-
on their reception area.
Right, and we
Did
first
we do
did
that?
it last year as an emergency purchase.
Okay,
And
so,
then they didn't work as the, you know, it was, they were like grinding, the ones they installed were too big for the space and we had to have them redo it.
So the original one was an emergency. Is this one now that's 4,000 then considered an
I don't
emergency?
think so unless you voted it to be an emergency purchase
Right.
before you did it.
Right.
And we obviously went with the same vendor because they took the price of the original ones off of fixing
so
it.
it's
because it
attached
was
to the
not
same
correct.
thing is what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
in my mind, it could be construed as it was part of the original emergency purchase. Did we spend more on it after we replaced them? Because we had two separate panes, they were too heavy, so then they recommended going with one fixed and two sliding. We changed the countertops out and everything. So it was all tied to the same emergency security purchase.
And they took,
So-
yeah, they took that original $1,000 off the second bid. They gave us, basically gave us our money back.
But the original emergency purchase was only $4,000, $996, right?
Correct.
And this one's like 4,000.
it was 5,000, but they took the 1,000
Yes.
off.
But if it's emergency, then it doesn't count towards their 6,000 or whatever the amount is in 3 months or 6 months. So
If it was
that's what I'm
actually
saying, if
voted.
this is still tied to the original emergency purchase, then we can still keep Brady's in the running for this without actually having to go out and bid it. So,
I would like to get it done, but we need to do it.
I'm fine with getting it
We
done.
need to do it.
But we either bid it, or we have to figure out if that was still emergency procurement, and this is going to be not even attached to it, so it doesn't put them over the amount in that period of time. If it's not an emergency procurement, then this is tied to it. We can't use Brady's because it puts them over the amount. So what is it, 6,500 in 3 months or 6,500 in 6 months?
6,000 for 90 days.
6,000, 90 days.
Yeah,
one
3
close.
months.
So, that's us, I think we need clarification if we can still have the health as the emergency purchase, we can go with Brady's and have it done.
What's the clock on the 90 days? When did the 90 days start and when does the 90 days end?
It's a rolling 90 days, but the health department invoice hasn't been paid yet.
Goes by the check date, so that's gonna be paid.
Okay.
So you currently have in process 2 bills that are,
If you approve this.
yes.
Okay, was there any discussion about this purchase, the most recent, not purchase, but order, whatever, being an emergency?
Not to us. I don't know if it was to you guys in an email or something from the judge. We didn't know anything other than getting the 2 proposals.
I think it could be a stretch to be an emergency because right now they can't work out their computers because of the glare from the sun on that side.
Well, there's also a safety issue here. Some suggest that a judge shouldn't be in front of a window that can be viewed from the outside. That makes it
Yeah, that's what I was.
emergency.
That's,
That makes sense.
yeah,
So if you want to declare this one an emergency, we can go forward then.
Can we do that at this point? And we've
We haven't
touched all.
purchased anything.
Yeah, we haven't told them to proceed or anything.
So we could make this an emergency purchase and be within the statute?
Now you need to make a motion to make.
Okay. I'll make that motion that and the amount of this is?
$1,560.
That the Brady's bid, $1,560 be deemed an emergency bid
Second.
purchase.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, yeah.
If you wouldn't mind signing this proposal from,
Do we need to award it then to them, or is that taken care of in that last motion?
I think your motion took care of it because he said it was
Okay.
Brady.
So we just need to sign it. Very good. All right. I cleaned out a lot of emails right there. 60 of them.
Okay, thanks, Eric. Okay, any other old business?
Thanks, Jessica.
Yep.
New business, accounts payable review.
I'd ask for approval of accounts payable pending review. Jeff needs to do these, I guess, because they're.
Oh, okay, so, okay, I'll
Oh.
make a motion to accounts payable upon review.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, public hearing
Then remind me. for-
and court order.
We can wait until the very end. if you
Okay,
prefer.
where's our county clerk?
I can go get them.
You got tired of waiting on us probably?
Uh,
We were having too much fun. Oh, man. Never thought tenting would be that big of a deal.
Well, but it is, he is right in that,
So soon, have to get creative with it.
Well, with-
If we want to do an
it,
emergency.
it, with,
Or if the other
with
one was an
that,
emergency.
6 weeks, yeah.
Sorry about that. I just have to present the annual precinct report to you guys. I emailed it to you, you got your copies back.
Correct, yeah.
Just don't, we changed a couple places, we moved from the link to McClung Park, it was remodeled and it's a lot bigger and better parking. And then Expressway Rentals up at IC Church. Because of COVID, we moved out of there and moved down to River Region Credit Union. So, any questions?
Nope.
Give that to you, and I got a copy for you, Jeff, if you want it. Any questions at all?
Nope.
No,
Thank you.
thank you.
Mr.
Thank
Clark,
you all very much. Yeah.
Mr. Clark, this might be out of order, but I think it would be of interest to the citizens. Are you the official that will receive the census info and begin to redraw wards and eastern, western?
Right, so next week at our conference, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna have a meeting about it, and what's gonna happen and stuff, so. We already have a guideline, I can send you that guideline if you don't wanna see it, of the process,
Okay,
like the dates and times and stuff, I can send that to you if you want.
that'd be good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll copy it and put it on an email to you guys.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you all.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Eric. Public hearing and court order for no parking Castle Rock Drive. Yield signs, Osage City area.
Okay, so this is, anytime we have regulatory items to address on the roads, we have to do a public hearing, and then you sign a court order if approved. So, this is a public hearing for two items, no parking on Castle Rock Drive and yield signs in the Osage City area. First one, Castle Rock Drive. Staff received request to address parking of trucks, trailers, boats, and junk in the cul-de-sac at the end of Castle Rock Drive. Around 2010 or so, the county made significant improvements on Castle Rock to allow safe passage of a school bus down the road, and at the time, a cul-de-sac was constructed to permit the bus to turn around. So if you look on the picture there, that's quite a bit different from what we started with. There's actually a full cul-de-sac at the end.
I think they gave us a tree too, didn't they?
Tree, we got right of way from at least two property owners there, I believe, to
So
do
we'd
it.
have room to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciated it.
And the issue at the time was the school bus wouldn't go down the road because there was no place to turn around. So we did that work, and over the years, people would start parking things at the end. Generally trailers, trucks, occasionally just piles of building materials or whatever. And in fact, if you look at the previous photo there, you can see a trailer's on there, and that's 2015 from those images. Just various pictures of the issue of various times, and this one was last week, and so there is stuff still there. It prohibits the safe turnaround of a school bus. Now you'd think, okay, there's plenty of room to turn around, but they do have requirements, and they won't go down certain roads if that's an issue. I'm not aware whether the school bus is going down currently, but it's an item that we do have to maintain the safe turnaround regardless of whether it goes down or not. And also, if you look to the left there is a ditch that kind of runs around the radius of the cul-de-sac, and we cannot maintain that ditch because of the equipment parked there. A little more blown out, or photo back a little further showing the issue. So the information and guidance on this, the rules for land subdivision for development and construction state that cul-de-sacs are needed to facilitate school bus circulation. Traffic safety manual states that parking will not be allowed on curves or may create a hazardous situation, and also shall not be allowed on roadways where there is not at least 12 or 16 feet of roadway for free movement of vehicular traffic. Traffic Safety Code, and these are two different documents. The Cole County Traffic Safety Code states that boats and trailers shall not be parked upon improved portion of any public street. So that's prohibited by the code. Also states that parking in excess of 72 consecutive hours is not allowed, and parking can be prohibited at all times by designated location, or at designated locations by court order. So even if we didn't have the equipment there, somebody could still park in the cul-de-sac. It's allowed up to 72 hours consecutive, unless there is a court order prohibiting it. So as we discussed this with the the Traffic and Safety Advisory Board, the parking of the trailers and vehicles in the cul-de-sac does impede the safe turnaround of the buses and larger vehicles at the end of the road. Creates an undesirable situation, defeats the purpose of why the cul-de-sac was originally constructed. We can't maintain the road and ditch with the vehicles, equipment, and junk parked there. The Sheriff's Department can remove the trailers and junk per the Cole County Traffic Code, but vehicles still can remain parked there up to 72 hours at a time. After discussing this with the Traffic and Safety Advisory Board, they recommended that the cul-de-sac be signed as no parking. So we need a motion to either accept, modify, or deny the Traffic and Safety Advisory Board recommendation, and if approved, a court order is ready for you to sign.
So do those trailers and stuff belong to people who live along Castle Rock? Is that?
We hear that it's people that live down, it's various people along the road and some that live down. There's, go back and look at the.
So the sheriff will ticket them or tow them or?
They'll ticket them first.
Okay.
It's the sticker they put on there. Down here at the bottom, there's, I can't put the pointer on there, but the cul-de-sac is the end of the county maintenance part. The road actually continues on down to some cabins.
South and west will have, what, 2 or 3, maybe, and if you go east
There's several.
along the river,
There's-
there are several of them that way.
Yeah.
And it does block them coming in, and so,
It's an aggravation. We've got some complaints more recently on it, and it just needs to be addressed. Castle Rock, there was a ferry that crossed over into Osage River way back when, and so that explains why there's that little right-of-way or whatever that goes down to the river. But
Sterling Price's army also crossed there in October 1864, just so you know.
that is correct.
Yeah.
So back to, so we need a motion to either accept, modify, or deny the recommendation. And if you do accept it as is, then we have a court order to be signed.
I'm good with accepting it. You all good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept the Traffic and Safety Advisory Board recommendation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And do we need to add a motion to accept the order?
Yeah, probably. That's signed by all three of you.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept the court order for the no parking for Castle Rock Drive and within the limits of the cul-de-sac at the end of the road.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving on to the next item, Osage City and its yield control at intersections. We had a request from a resident in the Osage City area, longtime resident, back probably early in the year, maybe late last year, about looking at adding, add stop signs in Osage City. The request was part of a broader discussion about signing and other items in Osage City. So as we got to looking into this, here's shows the plat of the old town down there. And upon looking at it, there are no stop signs, no yield signs at all in the whole town. None. Which isn't uncommon, but that kind of raised our eyes a little bit to see, okay, what do we need to look at doing down here based on the citizen had the concern. So we got to looking into it. Accident data, pulled that from Campo, and look in the far right corner, there is one dot there, and it was an accident at one of the intersections that we're proposing to address. As I said, there's no stop, no yield intersection control at all in Osage City. We're not aware of there really being a big accident issue. One over 5 years is not a serious issue. And that is backed up by the Campo data. However, the longtime local citizen did have some concerns, and it was valid concerns that we needed to look at. The major traffic pattern is from Route J over the railroad tracks and onto Engineers Road, where the river cabins are, and there is quite a bit of traffic that goes down there. Probably more so during the summer, but it's a fairly busy area, especially on weekends. So as we got to looking into to it, the two areas that raised some concern to us were the intersection of Osage High and Osage 4th Street, and then Osage Front and Osage Hickory Street. Every street down there has Osage at the beginning. So looking at the one on the lower part of the drawing there, Osage High and Osage 4th. So if you're coming from Taos area on Route J, you'll come to this intersection, and if you kind of look at it driving through, it drives as the through movement is making the left turn through there. That's how everybody drives it. It's paved that way. You know, that's the normal movement going through here, and it's the heavy movement. If you're looking on Osage High past the curve intersection, looking back to the west, that's what you would see. And again, there's no stop or no yield sign. This is coming up from the tracks, looking towards the intersection, and it looks like you can't really see it, but you're driving slow enough here, and when you come up onto it, it's not too hard to see from this direction. But if you're right here looking to the west, there's a tree there, and there's a little bit of a grade. The grade change creates a little bit of a sight distance issue. Looking at the other intersection to the north, Osage 4th and Osage Front Street, crossing the tracks, you can see there's a truck there that was going straight, I believe. It doesn't show here, but you'll see on the other photos that the movement is making the right turn through there. That's the predominant movement. So looking, as you've headed down towards Engineers Road and looking back to the west, you can see the curve there pretty good, that's the main movement. This is from the north looking back to the south at the intersection if you're on Osage Hickory Street, looking towards Osage Front Street. And then on the other leg, Osage Front, looking back at Osage 4th, you can see here pretty clear that the main movement is making that curve down towards Engineers Road. So the traffic safety manual for Cole County gives some direction on intersections with no traffic control. That'd be no stop, no yield. If there's not a lot of traffic, or it's pretty easy to discern where you need to be here, sight distance is good, it is okay to not have stop or yield control. That, like I said, it's pretty common. You get in the more subdivisions, the lower traffic roads, it's pretty common to not have a stop sign. However, sight distance is the main concern here. If you don't have good sight distance, then you need to consider a yield or a stop. And the sight distance requirements are for a 30-mile-an-hour speed, 130 feet. And then the traffic safety manual also gives some direction on when to do a stop or when to do a yield. So back to this drawing here, yield signs are warranted where you don't have good sight distance. And I can go back to the photos. So this coming up from this direction here, you can't back. I'm going through too many photos, I apologize for that. But if you're looking to the left here, you can't really see a car coming up from here. Now there is some trailers and boats parked there in the parking lot, but there's other things there as well, and that could be an issue there with sight distance. And then looking at the other, I mentioned earlier, there's a tree right there, and the grade change creates a sight distance issue too. So as we discuss this with the Road and Bridge Advisory Board, the conditions exist at the two intersections to either stop or yield to minor roads at the major road. There are sight distance restrictions at both intersections. Traffic volumes have grown over recent years on the major road, like I said earlier, going down to the cabins on Engineers Road. This is based on knowledge of the area. We did not do a traffic count, but we do know that traffic has increased. And staff felt that stop signs were not necessary, but yield signs would be appropriate. So we discussed that with the Traffic and Safety Advisory Board. We recommended, and they agreed, that yield signs be placed on Osage High Street, Osage Hickory Street, and Osage 4th Street at the locations shown with the arrows. So it'll sign it to where the main movement is, like I said earlier, making you end up on 4 different roads, but taking Route J on down to Engineers Road. So we need a motion to either accept, modify, or deny the Traffic and Safety Advisory Board recommendation, and if approved, we have court orders to sign for both, or for all 3 intersections, or all three yield signs.
So from Route J, you hit High Street, and the natural flow is for it to curve to the left onto Hickory Street. So that's basically, you're gonna put the yield on High Street coming straight toward Route J.
Yeah, I can't use the pointer here, but,
Yeah,
so this is the movement.
that's your natural flow
Yeah,
for all
so
of
we'll
it.
yield this one here.
Okay.
And then we'll yield this one here, and then this
And
one.
coming up north, okay.
Yeah, the main sight distance problems are this one, looking down here, you can't really see somebody coming up here. And then this here, you don't really see somebody coming up there. And this is dead end, these are all no outlet. These head through.
I think
all the
it
way
needs some
down.
signage down there anyway, because there's some, if you're down there and you have an accident or whatever, everybody's gonna say that they had the right of way.
Yeah, and it's judgment call on that. I mean, with no control, no stops or anything, it is the first person that comes to the intersection. However, that can be construed different ways, so.
Yeah.
And I'll also add that we are going to be overlaying the roads in Osage City this year with our new paver that we got and our crew. It'll be towards the end of the summer, maybe early fall. When we do that, we're going to work to make that through road be more obvious as the through road. We're gonna put some super in there and make things flow a little bit better through there, and be very recognizable. And then also, we're gonna update all the street signs and everything else, so it'll be a full-blown upgrade of the whole area. And this would complement that with putting the yields up.
Eric, what do we keep documentation-wise, and this is just the nitpicky in my part, but the digital photos show a June 4th of 2021 date, I think. Somebody down the road will say, wait a minute, how did you do this on May the 11th
It's
when you're looking
actually,
at pictures?
It's reverse, and it's my camera. I didn't have it set right.
Okay.
It's actually 4/6.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But it wouldn't be obvious looking at that.
So I don't know if you put an asterisk in the file when somebody looks at this somewhere down the road and say, how did those guys do that?
I don't like even having that date on there.
Right.
But it snuck on there on me. So, but good point. We can make mention of that in the file just for future.
Okay.
We just say you're just so efficient, you're working ahead of schedule.
He knows what it's going to look like on
Yeah.
June the 4th, so he went ahead and
Yeah,
took the pictures.
Great vision. So that's all I have on that. So any further questions or proceed?
I'm fine with going with that. I was hoping you didn't put stop signs down there, because I figured they'd be gone in, 24 hours? I don't know if you need to have stop signs down there. I think the yield signs are sufficient for all that, so.
I'm fine
You all
too.
good with it?
Yep, I'm good.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept the Traffic Safety Advisory Board recommendations.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to sign a court order for the traffic safety yield controls on Osage High Street westbound at Osage 4th Street, Osage Front Street eastbound at Osage Hickory Street, and Osage Hickory Street southbound at Osage Front Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, then we've got revised organizational chart for Public Works Department.
So, a few weeks ago, I was up here at a meeting, and Christy Campbell had presented a revised org chart for the health department. And didn't know if that's something we needed to do. I talked to Sheila
Yeah.
afterwards, and she recommended that we go ahead and proceed with presenting this to you. I don't know if the commission has on file what our org charts have been over the years. Not sure where we're at on that. But we have had quite a few changes happening in Public Works, and so it's appropriate right now anyway to do this. You may have seen some of this in the past as we were going through some of these changes, but I'll just highlight real quick where we're at on things. So it's split out. The maintenance side is by far has the most employees and the most breakdown of everything. So what we've done is split it out into we have three assistant road superintendents. Kevin Light handles the concrete, asphalt, pipes, special projects in the shop. And then Greg Block and Aaron Locke handle graders, truck drivers, signs and striping, mowers, and spray crew. And as we've talked about in the past, Greg is nearing retirement. He also handles every activities at the park, takes care of all the mowing, all the rentals, trash, cleaning, and everything. As he retires over the next few years, and it may be as early as this year, it's kind of up to him, we would go back to just 2 assistant road superintendents. And there's a good possibility that he would come back as a seasonal and mow grass at the park. Greg does a fantastic job taking care of the parks, and that would be a good opportunity for both of us if that happens. One change and a few changes in job titles. We promoted Teresa Wilson to office administrator, and she has under her the administrative assistant. And then I think I gave you the wrong copy. The crew leader position, we've changed that to supervisor. And I'm just seeing here that the copy that I gave you,
I got supervisor.
Oh, it does, okay.
Yep.
Good, because I'm looking at an old version that I stuck in my file, so.
Give yourself the wrong
I
one.
shouldn't have said anything. So supervisor, we've changed the crew leader to supervisor, and that was kind of in discussions with Sheila a little bit, and then with Brian. We felt that is more appropriate for what they're doing. They're supervising a crew of people, kind of gives them a little more supervisory responsibility with the title. So, you guys, did yours say crew leader?
Mine says crew leader.
Okay, Jeff, you have the correct one. I printed the wrong one.
You gave him the
I
correct
gave him
one
the
and we
correct
get,
one. So that should be the
I'm
only
just-
thing that.
I'm fine.
So
No,
Jeff, you have the official.
I can understand what he's saying.
So anything that says crew leader should say supervisor. And that affects the concrete, asphalt, pipes, and the shop. And also signs and striping. So we're probably not totally done with this. There are some changes that could happen in the future. Currently, we just interviewed, and I'll go to the other side of the office, engineering, planning, finance, and GIS. And nothing's changed on that from what it was previously. We do have a vacant engineering technician position. We interviewed for that yesterday. They're all internal candidates, so likely in the near future, we'll be making some tweaks to the maintenance end. But I think it would just be personnel changes. It wouldn't be title changes or anything like that. So, and there's some potential to maybe adjust on the planning and engineering, finance and GIS end, possibly having some of those people supervised by others. So, but we're still in the process of going through that. But for now, I wanted to get you all a copy of this to have on file, and know where we stand right now and kind of our direction going into the future. Main changes as Greg Block retires, we'll go back to just 2 assistant road superintendents. And then possibly some changes on the office end of things, with engineering, planning, finance, and GIS, changing around who supervises who. So, any questions about anything?
No, you addressed the questions I had.
So if it says crew leader, it should say supervisor?
Supervisor.
Okay,
Thanks,
so
I don't need a copy. That'll be the official one for the minutes.
how about,
So
You got that one?
I have a one.
Bless you.
I will make sure, Dawn, I'll email you the supervisor position.
and how about putting a date stamp on it too, so we'll know when, the vintage of this thing when we look at it down the road and look
Yeah.
back and so on?
It's easy to, if you don't know what's correct if you don't have a date, so
Right.
that's a very good point. I will do that.
Here, you get it back.
You're gonna print out all new ones anyway, right?
Yep, I will,
You want this that was submitted at the meeting, just?
Yeah, why don't you give that to Dawn?
Okay.
Here, let me give you this one back too. That's,
Okay.
so I think, when Christie did hers, I think you all voted to approve it. Is that right?
I'll make a motion to accept the org chart for Public Works as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Here, if you want, I scratched out and put soup. No, you
He's
want
gonna
that?
send an
Okay.
electronic.
Okay. Do we have any other issues?
Is that surplus title on there yet?
Yeah.
Oh, sign of surplus
Okay.
title. Okay.
This is a vehicle that the sheriff's department, the travelers totaled, so I need to get that sent to them.
2018 Dodge.
Yeah.
Make a motion, we sign a surplus title.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let me see your. I didn't have, it's on here.
Oh, I see.
I didn't, it's on our computer, but what I printed off.
I just added it yesterday morning, so.
I printed off this morning before the
I printed off
meeting
this morning
and
as
wasn't
well,
there
On the
but it's on-
website or on the drive?
on the website.
On the website.
Yeah,
It was posted.
Okay.
It's posted out here. so-
yeah,
All right.
yeah. Yeah, it's here, so, yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Nope, I had courthouse tinting on there, unless you wanna revisit that again, but I thought that was fun enough, so.
No, that's.
I'll make a motion that we go into closed session pursuant to 610.021 of the revised statutes of Missouri. Commission will go into closed session to discuss the following personnel issues, section 610.021, paren 13, close paren.
Second.
Roll call?
Harry,
Aye.
Sam,
Aye.
Jeff.
Yes. You said it'd be different.
I know,
For flowers.